Hi guys, welcome to this session on Microsoft Project. What I would like to cover in this session is how to create a simple task list and then save a baseline, and then how you should update that project plan, and lastly how to create a report, a customized report to show your progress. So very simple, very quick. So just going to create a couple of tasks, task A, task B. That's all I'm going to do. One duration, 1 day duration, and one resource on the resource sheet I've already created called Bob is on £10 an hour. So I'm going to allocate Bob to both of these tasks, and then I'm going to link these tasks so he doesn't become over allocated, which he is at the minute, over allocated. If I just put a number 1 in there, that'll just push him forward to the next day. So that's my little project, and now I'm going to save a baseline. So I'm on the project tab at the top, set baseline, save a baseline. So that's what you do with Microsoft Project. You create a task list, you link them up, you add resources, and then you save a baseline. Now this part of Project is quite common. People use this bit a lot, but then they don't bother updating the task. So this is what I want to show you what you should now be doing. Once you've saved your baseline, and you've got an option, as I've said on different videos, to save up to 11 baselines, 1 to 10 in this first one. So once you've saved a baseline, just overwrite that one, you can then start updating your tasks. Now to do that, I normally tell my classes to go onto the tracking Gantt, which is down this left hand side, tracking Gantt. If you don't have this on your screen, you can just right click and activate the view bar. So normally it's like that, you just tick view bar and it comes on. Tracking Gantt. Now what I've done on the tracking Gantt, normally the table would be the entry table as you would have on your normal Gantt, and the main difference would be on the Gantt chart you would have this percentage complete and a little marker for the baseline. This table is okay, but what I want to do, or try to get my people to do that I teach this to, is to change this to the tracking table, which gives you a lot more information, and then just do a few little tweaks on this table. So I've added these 2 columns. So if I just delete them off for a second, I just basically went into there, typed vac, and then if I click that on there, you can hover your mouse over the top and it tells you basically what that is, variance at completion. And then I also added finish variance, so I could see if there's any variance there. You could also do little calculations and add them in this table if you want. I also tell people, because at the moment if you're working in this table, there's no way of knowing what the actual start date was planned to be, what the baseline start date was. So I'm going to add 3 columns. I want the baseline planned start there, and the baseline finish, and the baseline duration, so I know what was planned. And obviously you would have to change this again if what baseline duration I want, there it is. If you'd saved a second baseline and it was looking at baseline 1, you would then have to reinsert those columns and move these off. But for now that'll do, and then you're ready to rock and roll. Now the way to do it is as follows. You enter the duration, the actual duration this particular task takes, or you can enter a start date and a finish date, or you can do 100% complete. Now the problem with 100% complete, I'm just going to get rid of this column because I don't really want that, is if you go for 100% complete all the time, you're basically saying that everything you planned went to plan, i.e. the start date and the end date was correct, the duration was correct, and the resource allocation was correct. And quite often that's not true, so it's a bit of a cop-out to just go 100%. It's a more accurate way, or there's a more accurate way of doing that, is to put the actual duration. So the actual duration, say for this one, was 1 day planned, but let's put 2 days. Now when I put 2 days in there, it automatically fills everything in. if I just put that back to 0, if I put a start date of, so it's due to start on Monday, if I say it didn't start until Wednesday and then it took 2 days, it still fills it all in, but now you've got movement because there was a delay on this particular task. 2 days. Now the actual cost has cost me £160 instead of £80. If I move this across, there's the £80 variance, and if I move it across a bit more, just cancel that, you can see that there is a 3-day finish variance from what was planned to finish on Monday. Now it's not finished until the end of Thursday. 3 days. And because these two tasks are linked, let's move the second task across as well. Now let's say on the second task that it took not 1 day as planned, but only half a day. So if I go 0.5 in there, it comes up with 50% complete. Now if I then put 0 there, which means there's no time left, it goes 100% complete, and it shows me that that's £40 instead of £80. The variance is only 2.5 days instead of 3 days. Now I could change this and put a formula in there that would tell me what the difference was between the duration, the planned duration and actual duration, and then that would reflect this, so that would just be half a day. It's up to you if you want that sort of information. The reason that's saying 2.5 days is because this task is linked to the one above, and therefore it is actually looking at this finish time, which has been caused by that, so it's actually slippage. Now all of this is great, and you've got to keep doing this for all your tasks. The information that you look at is something that you need to keep your head around and make sure you understand what's going off. Part of projects tools are reports. If I click on reports and have a quick look, I've already created a report called status, and this one is now reflecting table information, 3 days, 2.5 days, and baseline work against actual work. You can see it there, but it's not showing you any duration slippages on there. But if I just delete these off and just quickly show you how I did them, then you can see yourself. If I can click on the thing, okay, can't delete it, so I'll create a new one. Don't know why I can't delete that, it doesn't matter. New report, blank, call it status 1. So first of all, I'll add a table, which gives you this table, which is your default table, and you've got the tick boxes for fields that are displayed, and the list of the fields are displayed there. And then down the bottom there, you've got filters, groups, project summary. It's for all subtasks, you show both tasks. And then you can add extra fields. So if I go and find the VAC field, tick that one on, so it gives me the variance of those two. And then if I go and find under duration, I think it is duration variance, finish variance, that one. I could do duration variance as well. Yeah, that's a good one. So that has actually given me that information that I perhaps should have had on my table. So if I go back to my tracking table and then add that column in, because I like that personally. And duration, oops. Duration variance. Excellent. So that now shows me that that task went half a day early, so I've saved time there. But the actual delay on the start of this task has caused some grief, even though the actual duration was only 1 day out. So back to the report. It sits under recent, status 1. So I've got that information there. And then you can put a graph on this as well, and just do a little straightforward graph. The default graph itself, so I'll put it underneath and just make it a little fatter, thinner and fatter, or longer, and that's it. That'll do. So this is showing me actual work against remaining work and work. So I don't want that. I want baseline work. So let's get actual work can stay on. Let's take work off. I want baseline work. Yeah, so that's showing me remaining work. I don't want remaining work on. So you can take remaining work off either by taking the tick off or clicking on like that. So I want the variance on as well. So under duration variance. So that's just showing you that. So if I take some of this, take that one off and actual work off. Okay, so that's showing me the duration variance. So I saved half a day there and I gained 1 day there. So again, it's when you do reports in project, it's about playing around with the fields until you're happy that it's displaying the information that you want to see. And sometimes it's quite frustrating finding the actual field that you're needing to show. You have got tasks at the top and resources, and quite often you need to play around with these the filters and the groups to get the right bits and bobs. But that's basically how you update tasks. You create your reports. You've also got the default reports as well. So if I went onto dashboard, burn down, it doesn't show me anything on the burn down because it's not enough information. But let's go for resources, resource overview. So basically Bob's the only resource I've got, but you can still utilize these default reports, but I like to get people to create their own. You've got one I did earlier, status, and then status one. They sit in custom or recent if you've been in and out of them. And then you can see that's how you do it. So as your tasks are updated, if I go back to the tracking Gantt and knock that one, let's put that to 3 days, and let's say there is 1 day extra, so it's a total cock up 3 days, and then go back to have a look at my report. What's happened there? Yeah, so finished variance is now 5 days. That's how much extra it's cost me. Gone over budget, not even complete. And this report will just reflect whatever you type in on your Gantt chart. So that's the end of this session, guys. Hopefully it's been of use to you. And this is the bit of project that you need to spend a bit of time doing the admin on, obviously. So if you've written every single task down in your task list, you might find this little bit a bit tedious. So as I always say to people, think about what you're going to put down as your tasks and make sure they're just headline information really, as opposed to all the little bits and bobs that you still have to do, but do you have to list them? Okay, so hopefully that's been of use to you, and I'll see you on the next session. Thank you for your time.